No, he has not, and the Browns know it. And again, gentlemen, I feel like I've seen this movie before. Just a different team and a different actor. A team near and dear to your heart, Mr. LaVar Arrington, and that would be the Washington football team and one Kirk Cousins. The Browns are playing this the same way the Washington football team did with Cousins. Let's just slow play it. Let's kick it down the road. We really like him, but we need to see a little bit more. We need to see a little bit more. And along the way, what they discovered was that their quarterback was as good as the team that they put him around him, that they put around him. If the team wasn't good, he wasn't very good. If the team was healthy and put together, then he was pretty good. And while that makes him a functional quarterback, it doesn't make him a break-the-bank type quarterback. So this is all about whether, and it's really not a matter of Baker Mayfield proving that he's a franchise quarterback. It's pretty clear at this point that he is not. But can he be a functional quarterback with the Cleveland Browns as they build this dynamic team? And is he willing, most important, to take the kind of contract that would be reflective of a guy who is part of a championship team, but not the central piece of a championship team? That ultimately is going to determine whether Baker Mayfield is the long-term answer for the Cleveland Browns. And right now, it does not appear that the Browns are convinced that they need to give him any sort of long-term contract. They need to see more before they determine exactly how big that contract should be. So, is he the long-term solution? He might be, but he hasn't proved it to this point, and the way the Browns are handling him is proof positive.
Man, I don't know what Rick has against these middling quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield. Like, you don't want any of these guys.
Because they're middling quarterbacks.
Right
That's
now,
what I have against them.
Here's
they're
the fact of the
middling
matter,
quarterbacks.
Rick. This is the fact of the matter. This front office, this coach did not draft Baker Mayfield. But, yes, he is the answer. Baker is on his third coach, okay? This is fourth year. First year, Hugh Jackson, he put up good numbers. Hugh Jackson, we know what happened with him. Second year, he had Freddie Kitchens, Freddie Bathrooms, whatever you guys want to call him. He was awful. He's done. Now you get a real coach in Kevin Stefanski. And what does Baker Mayfield produce in his first year with a real coach? Top 10 quarterback in completions over 20 yards. Deep passes, Baker Mayfield was incredible, okay? You look at play action, Baker Mayfield was one of the best quarterbacks in the league statistically. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. The run to set up the pass, and that's without Odell Beckham for half the season. Pro Football Focus graded out Baker Mayfield as the 10th best quarterback in the league last year. 10th. Okay? There are 37 guys qualified and started enough games. Baker was 10th. So, yes, he is showing franchise quarterback ability. The reason I don't like the Kirk Cousins comparison, he was like a 4th-round pick, wasn't he? Okay? Baker Mayfield went 1 overall. Baker Mayfield has shown the potential to be a major franchise
Tom
quarterback.
Brady?
He was outstanding last year when it mattered. Remember, the Browns had not made the playoffs in a decade. The Browns' last playoff win, I believe it was last century, Rick. You got to turn back to like 1995 when Belichick was there. Baker Mayfield's bringing this franchise to new places. Obviously, the head coach was instrumental. The run game was phenomenal. But this team, LaVar, is really setting up. And I'm not going overboard here, but I reminded you guys I was in Vegas last weekend. I have some money on Baker to win the MVP. The odds have come my way. If you look at the Cleveland Browns schedule, Rick, they have one of the easiest schedule of defenses they will face this year, okay? They are really in a prime position to win 11, 12 games, maybe win one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC. And we know historically, if you want to be the MVP, you got to be one of the top 2 seeds. Listen, I'm just saying what the numbers say. The numbers say Baker Mayfield was excellent last year, and his upward trajectory is like the stock market right now. It's through the roof.
Listen, Baker Mayfield has not proven that he's the long-term solution to this team just yet. But I'm not saying that. I say that with the caveat of I'm not saying he isn't the long-term answer. I think that he has to prove more and show that he is that guy. And I think that Cleveland believes that as well, and that's why he hasn't received a new contract, an extension, whatever it may be. So when you think about Baker Mayfield, he has a tremendous second half to the season by my account, and looked as though he took a large step forward in terms of being in the conversation of if he is going in the direction of being a franchise quarterback. Has he transitioned into being called a franchise quarterback? Not just yet. I would not give him that. In fact, it's interesting. Take away the win total, which you could attribute a stout defensive front and a strong running attack that led to the resurgence of this Cleveland Browns team this past season. Baker Mayfield is comparable. Let me show you something. Let's go to this screen. Now, this is interesting because Gardner Minshew, we talked about draft statuses. Well, he went 178 in the 2019 draft, while Baker went number 1. Now, Baker Mayfield is considered to be a superstar quarterback that, well, is in the conversation of betting on himself to get a franchise contract, while Gardner Minshew is sitting behind the newly named starter and a number 1 draft pick in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. And half of the games played, 46 games to Gardner Minshew's 23. Their statistical categories, as you can see on this full screen, are almost identical in percentage. So when you think about adding up the totals, if you go and you make it 46 games for Gardner Minshew to 46 games with Baker Mayfield, they're probably the same percentages. You have the same guy. Are we looking at Gardner Minshew as a potential long-term answer for the Jacksonville Jaguars? We're not. It's a very different situation, and I get that. But in a lot of ways, it's not. You have 2 quality guys, but one has the ability to leverage the fact that he was a number 1 draft pick. That's really what sets him apart in these conversations. That cannot be the reason why you get a long-term extension in the National Football League. It can be a leverage point if you're playing well, but it cannot be the sole reason as to why you get that big next contract coming out of your rookie contract. In fact, the reason why rookie contracts are now slotted is because of this very thing. You will not come into the league and get a major blockbuster deal coming out of college because, well, we don't know if you're going to outperform a guy that goes 178th in the draft. So you got to prove it on your rookie contract. Baker Mayfield took a strong step forward in proving that he should be in the conversation. But Baker Mayfield has to have a great season this year to solidify, A, being discussed as being really a franchise quarterback, and B, do you pay him as a franchise quarterback? Hype can only take you so far. And right now, he's got to double down on having a strong end of his season last year.
Jeez. I got you guys know the emoji with the head exploding? That's what I was doing looking at that graphic. Listen, that was a well-built argument.
Thank you.
But it's total balderdash. Toss that out the window. LaVar, come on. Listen, 2 years ago, he had Hugh Jackson as a coach. They were like feuding on the sideline. Last year, Freddie Kitchens was basically a bartender somehow being a head coach in the NFL. And again, it was a nightmare. Don't compare those first 2 years that Baker had. Look at last year. What have you done for me lately? Baker Mayfield last year was phenomenal. Top 10 quarterback in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. Not me. The stats, the numbers say Baker is on the upward trajectory. Meanwhile, Gardner Minshew, are the Jaguars, is Urban Meyer getting hit over the head with trade offers for Gardner Minshew?
Maybe.
Listen, you guys are way too low on Baker Mayfield and the Browns here. And now Rick's going to come over the top and hammer me because that's what he wants to do. But I'm just telling you guys, Odell Beckham is one of the, top 15 receivers in the league. Some would say top 10.
He's got some proven.
He does have some stuff to prove. They're basically adding that to an offense that was a juggernaut last year. They were awesome in the second half of the season, as you said. They have the best 1-2 running back combo. Offensive line that's probably looking at a top 7-8 in the league. Things are really shaping up well for Baker. I'm trying to, skate where the puck is going, not where it has been. And I know it's been ugly for Baker in the past, but forget about the past. Look to the future.
That's even more reason, J-Mac. Not to jump on you, Rick, but that's even more reason for there to be pressure on Baker Mayfield to produce. He's got a top 5. I wouldn't say top 7. Matter of fact, I might go as far as to say it's them and the Colts that have the most elite offensive fronts in the game. You have 2 elite running backs in your backfield. You have 2 elite receivers. You have 2 elite tight ends. So there's even more reason for his numbers not to be comparable, even if you had excuses of using coaches from the past. The bottom line here for me is that Baker Mayfield has every single thing a quarterback could ever want, need, wish for. Here's my Christmas list, guys. I need an offensive line that's a top-ranked offensive line. Hey, I need a running game that can keep the pressure off of me and so that I have time to throw the ball. Play action fakes will work. I can move out of the pocket because I'm a little mobile. Can you guys deliver that for me? Whoa, I need some receivers that are uncoverable, that run really good routes and, well, could be considered one of the greats or greats, plural, in the league. It's even more reason, J-Mac, for you to sit there and put the pressure on Baker Mayfield and say, if you are not unquestionably the answer to this team, if you are not unquestionably a franchise guy with this type of talent, then it should be very easy to come to a conclusion and say, if you can't produce with this group, then there's no reason for me to think that I can bring you in here and you can produce here. And there's definitely no reason for me to give you a contract that would reward you not being an elite guy with all the elite talent around you.
J-Mac, I'm not coming over the top to hammer you. I actually am looking for an invitation to go to Vegas with you because your bets are entertaining as hell, brother. And I would be trying to convince you not to throw your money away there, and let's use it and have a good time. Because
that's right.
Why waste it on some of these picks? Baker Mayfield is an MVP. You must have got some great odds on that, brother. That's the only explanation I have for that. So I have a question for you. Is if Baker Mayfield is indeed the long-term answer, and he proved last season that he's made this meteoric rise, and he's only going to continue, and he's going to be MVP this year. Wouldn't it make sense for the Cleveland Browns to at least offer him a contract now to get him at this price before he becomes MVP, rather than wait and then giving him an extension at MVP prices? They have not done that. There's nothing on the table for him to refuse.
That's a great point.
So it suggests to me that they're not buying just yet, that he's the quarterback that you think he is. And by the way, that Pro Football Focus ranking, okay, he was 10th. Matt Ryan was 9th. Matt Stafford was 11th. Like, he's in the land of quarterbacks that we're not quite sure what to make of at this point in their careers. And I'd go to Sporting News that also had a ranking, and they had Baker Mayfield as 13th, behind both Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. If you're the quarterback of the future for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, you damn well better be the best quarterback in the division. And as of right now, that categorically cannot be said about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, listen, I hope I didn't make it sound like Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in the league.
Did.
He's not without flaws,
You did.
obviously.
Well, you said he's going to be MVP.
You did gas him up.
Bet on it.
Betting on him to win MVP at odds that were favorable, they've now come my way. That being said, Baker did cut his interceptions last year. He cut his sacks. He still needs to improve under pressure. 4 interceptions under pressure, one of the worst numbers in the league. We know the book on Baker, but as LaVar said, the offensive line is there. I hope I'm not getting Cleveland fans too excited, but this Browns team is absolutely loaded. I had Daniel Jeremiah on my podcast. He said this is one of the 5 best rosters in the NFL. And again, I know you mentioned quarterbacks. Why haven't they offered that huge deal? Josh Allen got the Bills to the AFC title game. They backed up the Brinks and handed it to Josh Allen, who was, he was like 3rd in MVP voting. I think he finished 4th. He was up there. If you lowball Baker now based on what he was 2 years ago, Gardner Minshew numbers, then he's going to be like, no, and it gets ugly. You don't want to offer him the world because, as you guys have said, he has not quite given you the world. So you're in that weird middle ground. Baker's going to get paid, but I think we know this is a run-first team. They are, the play action is how this team operates. I think Baker will get big money. I don't know if he'll get Dak Prescott money. LaVar, you think he deserves Dak Prescott money? What does Dak Prescott?
Did Dak Prescott deserve Dak Prescott money?
I don't think so.
I don't know that it matters
I mean, the
at
market,
this point.
yeah.
It's just who's up when they're up.